Hello everyone and welcome to this new Sprocket episode. Finally today I will build the YT3. Basically the idea behind it is very simple. So this tank is inspired by the Mark V. So it will be it is a long tank, no turret, very basic. I was inspired by it because as I was building a World War I tank, it was the most basic and still interesting design that I really wanted to do for this video. So the design is very simple, as you can see. It has no turret, so my idea was to make a long tank, a thin and long tank, and honestly, in my opinion, it looked like a submarine. I worked on the design of the tank itself, and I had some problem, some issue with the tracks. I didn't exactly know how to make them and to make them look good. So I had to try different things, change the size of the wheels, of the tracks, but at the end the result was fine. I wanted to make sure that the engine was fine, was a good engine, because since this tank didn't have a turret, I needed a tank with a good mobility. So I worked on the engine. After that, as you can see in the video, I directly placed the gun on top of the tank. The gun itself had to be very small. I didn't want to do a gun that was too big, because I thought that it might have been ugly to see. So I worked on the depression of the gun to make sure that it was working properly, and I started immediately adding details. Since this tank has a very basic design, it didn't take me too much long to make it. Actually, I think it took me 25 minutes probably. I was almost done with the details. Since this tank was very simple, there was not much space to put details. For example, at the back, I wasn't sure how to put the vents for the engine, so I just did something very basic. While making this tank, I was thinking more about efficiency than actual looks and design. That's probably why I decided to make it very simple. It just needed to be good enough to fight other tanks and even cross trenches. So basically, the most important part to give this feeling of the World War I tank were the rivets, of course. So I just placed the rivets everywhere. It didn't took me much long because since the design was very straightforward, I didn't have struggles to decide where to put exactly the rivets. But I was done with that, and at one point I wasn't sure if to put side skirts or not, because since it was inspired by the Mark V, at the end I told myself, alright, I will put the side skirts, and I think it was a good idea. Basically, it gave more armor to the tank and even gave it a sort of realistic look. But as you can see, I was trying to make it very simple. The side skirts usually to make them look nice, you have to work with them to play with the shape of the side skirts, and that's what I tried to do. I didn't want to cover every single wheel, because I was imagining, for example, if during a fight the tracks are broken or there's a wheel missing, how could the crew repair it without having enough space to check the tracks or the wheels, to check the state of the wheels. Anyways, I decided to decorate with my final touch. Delivery was very basic, was very simple, but it was efficient. For the armor, I didn't make an overpowered tank, mostly because it already had the side skirts, which gave it more defense on the sides. On the front, the front was mostly angled, so it didn't need too much armor. The only part which I think was to be better done, like properly done, speaking of defense and armor, was probably the part where the gun is, so its sides and the back of it, and even probably the front. Any shot could probably disable my gun. I even tried to fight against the YT1 and the YT2 to see which advantages it had, and I noticed that against the YT1 it was very effective, because since this tank was very long, the YT1 has a very small gun, if you remember the first video, and it didn't have enough powerful gun to take out the entire crew in one shot. Anyways, I hope you like this tank, the YT3. Next time I have to decide if to build a World War I tank, or if I should start with the interwar period. But anyways, leave a comment, remember to subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.